Hey guys, and welcome back to the Bear Strength Training Log. You're joining me today on week 4, squat speed day. So I'm just warming up with a hip warm up. I'm on the hip machine. I'm starting off first with a eccentric external rotation of the hip. This is to deactivate the psoas, which for me on my right side, as I'm showing here, is overactive. So I'm trying to shut it down. So I did some reps of those. I cut it to not to bore you. Next, moved on to some horizontal abduction of the hip with slight internal rotation. This is to really get the TFL, or the tensor fascia latae, to activate and really start contracting, because it's a little deactivated because the psoas is overactivated. So next, after that, we're doing concentric internal rotation, which is also working the TFL. So now, because the goal is to get the TFL to fire in internal rotation, since that is where I'm weak and which is throwing my hip off, which you've seen in some of the videos, and you'll see it's better today. So first I deactivated the psoas, activated the TFL, and then worked the TFL in the plane of motion that I wanted to fix. So after warming up my hips, went on to hamstring curls. As you notice, my knees lift up off the top as I further contract my hamstrings, contract my glutes. Really get a really tight contraction here. Controlling the negative back down. Start pushing blood into the hamstrings, really get them just kind of pumped up before I start my squatting. I find this is a really good way to get the posterior chain, the hamstrings particular, ready for the squatting, and it really helps, I find, their power output. It can, sometimes if you do it a lot, it can limit your overall power output for the day, but I find overall long term, your body really kind of adapts to it and gets stronger from it. So on this last set, I mixed in some static holds along the range of motion, just really trying to just force those hamstrings to engage and grow too. Really just trying to get them really pumped up and full of blood before the squats. So I was feeling a little tight today still, so started off a little slower than I wanted to. The speed's okay. Wasn't really too happy with this first set, so you'll see that I end up taking this weight again. It was a little tight and wasn't quite getting the depth that I wanted. Sound cut out. So, like I said, taking the 185 for a second warm up. Really just trying to get tight under the rack. Really just kind of get a nice controlled walk out. And you can see my right foot compared to some previous weeks is doing better. There's less kind of weird screwing going on, and that I attribute that to the work that I've been doing with the hip machine, just kind of rebalancing my hips out. So you can see this set is much better than the first. Just had to start acclimating to the weight and just kind of get my nervous system tuned in. For some reason the audio is all messed up today. So then I did a set with 205, warming up. This ends up, I think, is actually kind of like my first work set, but first I think I miscounted plates again, because you'll see it going forward. I'm going to be doing 210. So first set, working sets. We got a monkey visitor, David, back there, walking through the frame. So this is actually supposed to be a set of triples, but I miscounted and kind of got wrapped up in it, and an extra rep. So I'm really trying to be explosive, kind of come down with kind of slow, kind of control it. I'm trying to get into the groove right now. But as you can see, especially for the first few sets, my speed is going to continue to increase and accelerate. So I'm going to start getting faster. And then I think the last couple of sets you'll see it slow down a little bit as I start to get fatigued. But it's okay. The goal is to really just kind of try to stay as fast as possible and should get faster and faster. Just maintain a high velocity. As you can see, this set is a little faster than the previous set. So here's set 3. Trying to get nice and tight. Just trying to stay tight, fall into that groove. Kind of leaned back too much on that one. Lost my balance just a touch. But you can see the speed's starting to get a little bit better in these sets. I decided to try changing the camera angle. Wanted to see how my depth was looking from the side and just kind of how my mechanics look from the side as well. So get tight, walking out. It was a little high. The second rep was better, a little better depth. And third set rep actually had the best depth and some of the better speed. So you can see the speed starting to get a little bit better. Though a little bit too much activation in my low back, a little too much arching, but it's an acceptable level. A little slow on that rep. Kind of went down a little bit too slow too. Couldn't really get any elasticity. It's really helpful to be able to move down fast as well as come up fast. And something you really want to build up to is being able to move down faster. If I was to coach myself here, I would tell myself to descend a little quicker. You want to be able to descend basically as fast as your technique will allow. He's doing a little bit better job here, coming down a little quicker, springing up a little bit better. But a faster descent will give you a better rebound out of the bottom and allow you to use the stored elastic energy of your muscles and soft tissue a little bit better. But you don't want to go down as fast as your technique can handle. So if you're coming down too quick and your core just collapses and your back collapses, it's too fast and you got to slow it down a little bit. And so this was again, I was moderately tired today, but as I started warming up and just kind of getting into the groove, I was able to go a little faster. Core is a little bit too weak on that set though. So next I moved on to some pause squats. This week I started integrating some low bar pause squats instead of just going straight to the high bar. And I've found in the week since that this has really kind of helped a lot. It really helped me out of the hole where I was a little bit too weak. So I bumped the weight up to 225, did 2 sets of triples. This really kind of helped my strength out of the bottom. Really building up the glutes and the hamstrings. Just really trying to keep real tight through the core. And then just come up as hard as I can. So a pretty good set there. So again, second set now. Switching it back to the other angle. See how it looked. As I sink down, try to drive my knees out, really trying to set into my glutes. I find pause squats in some ways actually make me perform better as I'm able to better contract because it's a little bit slower, so I have a little bit more time to find the right balance. And I think it's a really useful tool when training too, because when you go down and pause in the bottom, you're able to find that balance spot, that sweet spot for your technique that allows you to come up best. And so by spending some time there over time, it allows you to find a little better position, and you'll be able to find it easier when you're coming down faster as well. So next, I moved on to some high bar squats. So these are, I take deep as I can. So my flexibility only allows me to basically go that far. My thighs start resting on my calves. I'm not sure if it's all flexibility or if it's just kind of muscle on muscle at that point. I haven't fully determined. But these are really great. Like I've said in previous weeks, just really kind of helps to keep more upright. As you notice, it's a little more upright than my other squats. It's also done with a closer stance, so it works the quads a little bit more, and it's just a little bit different and kind of hits the muscles from a little bit of a different angle. So I had a lot of squats this week, a lot of sets. Did all the speed squats, and then the pause squats, and then 2 sets of high bar. One more rep. So pretty good with the high bar this week. Pretty tight and in control. One more set. High bar. Again, much On the high bar, it's useful to get a much tighter hand position, much closer to the shoulders. Really helps your traps get tight, as the position for your for the bar is obviously different here. And I find it actually makes a pretty big difference. It was I had, for the longest time, so I'd always be a low bar squatter. When I tried high bar, it would just really hurt my traps the way it's set. I mean, kind of like set on my spine a little bit too much. But by moving my hands in, I was able to just kind of push the meat of my traps together a little more and provide a better groove for the bar to sit in, and developed it to actually be pretty comfortable. And what's interesting about high bar is it kind of just compare it to the like low bar position if you haven't done both. When you're doing high bar, I can basically just stand there with the bar on my back. Like, it's not very strenuous, whereas low bar, just kind of standing at the bar is a bit fatiguing. It obviously changes the form of the squat as well, and the angle of the body. But it's just an interesting comparison of the two. So next, moving on to some leg press. Went a little heavier this week, since I was working a little more volume, a little lighter weights with the squats. So I decided to do a little more of a overload type work with the leg press. So I started with 510 for 8. These are kind of slow and deliberate reps, trying to be explosive coming out of the top or out of the bottom rather, and just kind of controlling it down. Pretty fatigued at this point, just trying to do work. And then, because I was feeling like it, I did some squats on the Bosu ball. Just trying to, again, this is kind of going back to the rebalancing of my hip. I just kind of want to get everything kind of firing better. So I'm just trying to get the stabilizers to reactivate. I don't do a lot of this kind of stuff, and just kind of did it on a whim. Just wanted to get things to kind of rebalance out, and I just kind of felt I needed more stabilizer work today, so I just decided to hop on and do it for the hell of it. And I jump off. So then back to the leg press, up the weight, another 100 pounds, did 610, managed 7 reps. Again, leg press I really find is really great for helping my squat, kind of helping the activation of the lower quad, the vastus lateralis and the vastus medialis, as well as the hip in conjunction. Translates really well to the squat. It also really helps off the floor when pushing for deadlift. So then I did some farmer walks, which I didn't manage to record in previous weeks, though I did do them. Today was doing 140 pounds per hand. Just trying to get them as quick as possible. Still kind of just working on the technique on them as well. At this point was pretty damn tired. First turn wasn't so great. You see this set's moving a little bit quicker as I've warmed up a little bit more. A little better turn too. Turn's really tough if you haven't done one before. Really strains the grip a lot, and coming back nice and with a clean line, it's pretty tough, as those weights really want to just kind of pull you off to the side and just stay twisted on you. These are a really great exercise for building up the whole back, building up the core, building up grip strength. Just overall, just put slabs of muscle on you, really just builds an iron grip. Really effective exercise, and just really functional as well, just carrying heavy stuff. So then hanging leg raises again, great core exercise. Just trying to control the reps down, stay tight coming up. And this really helps balance out a lot of the kind of extension of the low back, I find. So it's really good for core health and just back health in general, especially for me. And then another set. So thanks again for watching, guys. A bit longer of a video today. Thanks for sticking through it. A lot of squats, the squat volume I just find is really, really helpful for building the squats. Just having that barbell on your back just really builds up the core, really just builds up the squatting muscles. So thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you check out the Facebook page, Bear Strength Athletics. Make sure you subscribe, comment below. If you haven't seen the deadlift video, check it out. Nutrition video coming soon. Subscribe and share it. Thanks for watching, guys.